There is no ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. Prime Minister Netanyahu said it very clearly. We are targeting Hezbollah terrorists. And I want to remind you that Hezbollah started this cycle. You know, we spoke in the past many times. We signed a ceasefire agreement only in November 2024, but it was Hezbollah, again, that decided to attack Israel, launching rockets on our communities, and we take actions. We don't take any chances anymore. We're pushing back Hezbollah from our border to the northern parts, and we're targeting Hezbollah targets. So, you know, I heard also your interview with the minister a minute ago. Not one word about Hezbollah, but you have to understand, it will not be quiet in Lebanon as long as it's not quiet in Israel.
Well, can I just say, you say that you're targeting Hezbollah, but densely populated civilian areas were struck where the elderly were killed, small children were killed, mothers were killed, doctors, poets. As I said, these were densely populated areas, civilian areas, with people who had no affiliation to Hezbollah.
First of all, we regret the loss of life of any civilians, period. We are doing everything we can to minimize civilian casualties. We notify the population before we strike. We give them a heads up. You know, most of the villages in southern Lebanon, mostly the Shiite villages, are empty now because we gave them a proper warning and they moved up to the north. So we will continue to do that. But at the same time, you know, once you see Hezbollah next to your house,
there were no warnings.
Next to your facility, you have to
understand were no warnings.
That Hezbollah is a target.
This caught this nation by surprise, where you basically launch, 100 strikes in the space of 10 minutes. And many of the civilians say that they received no notification. And that's why we're seeing the death toll the way that it currently is. And you, by hitting these civilian areas, you've breached international law, you've breached humanitarian law. And as you heard there from the minister there, Lebanese ministers are accusing Israel of committing war crimes. But I'm asking about Israel's actions. I'm asking about Israel's actions because the buildings that you've struck, witnesses, emergency workers, the medics that arrived there are saying that those buildings were civilian areas.
You were going to ask everything you want, but I will bring you back to the root cause of the problem and the conflict. For decades, we are fighting Hezbollah. For decades, Hezbollah is in control of Lebanon. So you cannot speak about the suffering in Lebanon without mentioning what is the cause for that. They started this cycle of violence again 40 days ago. So now to come to Israel...
But Ambassador, you have an obligation under international law, under humanitarian law, to ensure that you do not target densely populated areas. And these areas, the buildings that you struck, were civilian areas that had no affiliation with Hezbollah, that weren't military installations.
No, that's
and
not
that's
correct.
Why we are seeing a high number of civilians, including women and children, killed. And I mean, there are the profiles of these people. I'm here in Beirut, and I've been speaking to officials. I've been speaking to families and those who have been impacted, and they were civilians. Like I said, I mean, the areas that are being targeted, densely populated areas in central Beirut, in downtown Beirut, are not places where they say that there were military installations or a Hezbollah stronghold. And increasingly, Ambassador Danon, the international community is condemning Israel's actions. Countries like Italy, France, Spain are saying what Israel is doing is breaching international law.